And I'm delighted to say, if we listen very carefully, you can hear the sound of the returning drinks trolley, because we've struggled with absolutely nothing to drink at all apart from water and tea. But Susie is better. Hurrah! She's healed. Well, almost.
Almost.
It's nice to have you back. And what do you offer?
Well, I feel like this is going to be quite controversial, but lots of people are putting up Christmas trees and as such. So I thought, why not come back with a bang and have a Christmas cake ale? So it's a toffee and maple session stout.
Oh, that sounds a little bit heavy.
It's only 4.7%.
Oh.
Not as heavy as you may think.
Try and sound a little bit more enthusiastic.
That was my voice. Oh, I'm surprised.
And it's got like a very cool Santa on the bottle with the sleigh in his very cool sunglasses. So, yeah, it's nice.
All right, very nice. It was Paul Carrot, not Pete Carrot, by the way. I don't know why I said that. It was Paul Carrot who was singing with Ace. Here we go with today's confession, which comes from Nikki. Thank you, Nikki. Dear Simon and the confessional team, I have a tale from my childhood that still wakes me in a cold sweat and will explain why I've never trusted a vacuum cleaner all my life. Who knows where this is going to go?
Right, not there.
No.
What?
No, not. It's not that kind of confession. You'll see where we're going.
Good.
It's bad enough anyway, without you making it worse.
I hope we're not going where Matt's going.
My parents ran... That'll be for the podcast. My parents ran a small hotel on the south coast of Cornwall. The name will remain anonymous to protect everyone, including myself. As the youngest of three girls, I was automatically drafted into hotel duties during weekends and school holidays. Think of it as character building, I was told. I thought of it as forced labour. We had many loyal guests who returned every summer, including one lovely family whose parents had been visiting since before I was even born. One particular year, they arrived following a recent bereavement. They spent the evening with my mum and dad in the bar, swapping memories over gin and sympathy. The next morning, I was assigned to chambermaid duty with my mum, a job I absolutely loathed. She left me alone in one of the bedrooms to vacuum, which is where things took a dramatic turn. I knocked a holdall off the bed, the contents spilled over the floor, and, ever the dutiful daughter, I hoovered it all up without question. When Mum returned, I cheerfully explained what had happened. Her face went white. Not, cross Mum, not, you're in trouble, Mum. No, this was, something unspeakable has occurred, Mum.
Oh dear.
She vanished downstairs and reappeared seconds later, clutching a cooking implement. Never a good sign in the context of housekeeping. We have to be quick, she said. Your dad's on guard in reception. And that's when she removed the Hoover bag from the Hoover, thrust a sieve into my hands, and proceeded to pour its contents through it. There I stood, obediently shaking out the mixture of greyish ash, carpet fluff, and, well, I don't want to think too hard about the rest, into the cremation urn that had been hidden in the holdall.
Yeah.
Once full, Mum screwed the lid back on with all the reverence she could muster. I think we said amen, laid the holdall neatly on the bed, and we fled the room as if nothing had happened. Downstairs, Dad was entertaining the guests in the bar with the enthusiasm of a man whose sole job was to delay anyone from going upstairs and discovering two women sieving their loved one's remains out of a vacuum cleaner.
Wow.
The urn was later taken out to sea and scattered with great dignity. The family were none the wiser, although there may have been a trace more carpet fibre within the ash than originally intended.
Dust.
And that, yes, dust to dust, carpet fibre to carpet fibre.
Yeah.
And that, Simon, is how I accidentally hoovered up a guest's ashes. Please forgive me, from Nikki. So we didn't go where Matt was afraid that we would go because it's not that kind of show. But it was bad enough, and Sister Susie speaks now.
Yeah, Nikki, it wasn't your fault. You know, you maybe shouldn't have been doing the job. They should have done it themselves rather than send a child to help them out, or teenager. But I just can't forgive the idea of them coming upstairs and finding you with a sieve and a Hoover and an urn.
It's very Fawlty Towers, isn't it?
I can't forgive. I just can't forgive. Sorry, Nikki.
Brother Matthew.
I mean, it could have been a lot worse, couldn't it, really? I mean, when she came back up the stairs with the sieve, I thought she was going to come back up with, a few ashtrays or something, and they were going to just use that. And it turned out they didn't, did they? They used the sieve. Who'd have thought that the dust would go through the sieve? But it did, which was great, and great presence of mind from everyone there. So I'm going to forgive. Could have been far, far worse.
Well, in your mind,
certainly what I was thinking.
Yeah.
People's verdict,
Everyone was
please,
thinking.
for Nikki.
Oh, yeah.
61054. First word is Simon. Just before the news, an innocent tale from Nikki, who was once a teenage chambermaid in her parents' small hotel in Cornwall. She accidentally knocked over a bag, hoovered up the mess. However, that included the ashes from an urn,
Yes.
which was intended to be heading out to sea. Anyway, it got sieved, and then it got chucked in the sea, and everything was fine in the end, plus carpet dust. The people's verdict, here we go.
Forgiven, says Vic. Poor girl was only trying to do her best and hoover the room. I think the family did well. The dad distracting and the mum with the sieve. Brilliant. But David in Ipswich says, not forgiven. Who manages to accidentally hoover up someone's ashes? Did she not realise she should have been more careful when cleaning people's rooms? But Bert in Coventry says, forgiven. My brothers and I recently discovered the ashes of my grandmother while tidying our loft in a cylindrical tube decorated with trees.
Oh.
It didn't look like ashes and I nearly threw them out. Why our dad was keeping them there, I'm still not clear on.
So I wonder what Bert did.
He didn't throw them out. He says he nearly did.
They're
yes.
still, maybe they're still there.
They're still in the cylindrical tube with the trees on.
Okay, all right, very interesting. Thank you for the verdicts and thank you for your confessions. If you have one, send it to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk. And high time we had something to drink, basically.
Aha.
Yeah, because we need something because it's thirsty work, this confessions business. What have you lined up for us today, Suze?
Well, I thought something warming would be very nice. We started it on the bar last week. How about some mulled cider? We've got a chai mulled cider from Iford, which we then also add a bit extras to it to make it extra tasty. But you can buy your own mullein spices, or you could just buy, they do it mulled cider, you can buy it now, spiced apple.
Sounds good. Sounds good. A mulled cider will take us through tonight's confession, which comes from Martin and Rufus. It's from two people, Martin and Rufus.
Two people?
Father and son.
Wow. Oh, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dear Father Simon and the Toolbox of Tolerance.
Oh.
That's you guys.
Okay.
This week, my son and I have been reminiscing about his much-missed granddad. My late father, we'll call him Fred, whose birthday would have been approaching now. It's nearly 10 years since Dad passed away, and we feel it's finally time to seek forgiveness for a workplace escapade that's kept our family laughing and slightly wide-eyed for more than 30 years. The story takes us back to the early 1990s when Dad was part of a close-knit maintenance crew working at a sprawling old factory, a place that had once rattled and boomed with building aircraft, parts for the war effort, and in later years, chunky road paving machinery. By the time Dad was there, the factory was long past its glory days, with drafty outbuildings, leaky roofs and clanking machinery. All kept going by ingenious tinkering, gallons of tea and the kind of practical wisdom passed along in the yard. One morning, the maintenance crew faced a formidable foe, an old sewer manhole cover in the works yard, locked down tight with decades of rust and neglect. In true Right Said Fred style, that's the Bernard Cribbins Right Said Fred, not the Right Herberts in vests.
Okay.
The entire squad assembled, took their turn to remove the offending cover with trowels, screwdrivers, crowbars and sledgehammers. However, despite their valiant efforts and the cover being lubricated by both releasing oil and some classic industrial language, it would not budge. Time, as always, for a tea break. As the tea was brewing and plans were being hatched, one chap slipped off for a bit of me time in the outhouse because he needed...
Yeah, no, I've got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
While he's settled in, Dad's eye fell on some ancient, long-forgotten oxyacetylene kit, covered in years of grime and dust in the corner of the yard. Why don't we just cut the thing off, he declared. One of those flashes of inspiration only possible with a fresh mug of tea in your hand. And instantly, the group was on board. The kit hadn't seen action in years, so Dad coaxed it back to life with a sort of cheerful disregard for danger that defined health and safety back then, when risk assessment meant checking if you still had your eyebrows after the job.
Yes.
Helmet on, torch lit, and away he went. Soon enough, the cover began to hiss and glow, metal turning cherry red as the flame did its work. And then, suddenly, just as the crew congratulated themselves on their brilliance, a deep rumble started underfoot. The sound grew, a growl and then a roar. Everyone jumped back. There was a whoosh and then a spectacular kaboom! An explosion. Not from the manhole. The explosive noise emanated from the outhouse across the yard.
Oh dear.
For a moment, silence, and then from the outhouse, their red-faced, startled colleague appeared, halfway between a run and a stumble, trousers round his ankles, clutching his newspaper, eyes wide as dinner plates after having his piece so spectacularly disturbed and his bottom burnt. Once sure that he had no one else was hurt except perhaps the poor chap's dignity, the entire team fell about, tears of laughter streaming down their faces. The escapade became a maintenance legend. The equation to remember: oxyacetylene torch plus sewer plus outhouse plus me time, whatever that is, equals explosion. Dad loved telling this story, and when he shared it with my son years later, they laughed so hard we had to ask for help. So, Father Simon and the toolbox of tolerance, as we remember Fred on what would have been his birthday, my son and I humbly seek posthumous forgiveness for a granddad whose creative problem solving brought unexpected fireworks to the factory toilets, and hopefully gifted one unlucky chap a story he'll never live down. As a footnote, this probably all remains unknown to the residents whose semi-grand riverside apartments now stand on the hallowed ground of the old factory and its infamous outhouse. For the sake of privacy, we've changed my late father's name for the confession. Many thanks and best wishes, Martin and Rufus, sending in today's tale. Who would have thought it, that you take an oxyacetylene torch at an old manhole cover and then there's this explosion in a toilet.
Toilets goes off. Right, wow.
Well, let that be a learning to you,
yes,
I think.
Yes.
Susie, what do you say?
Well, I'm struggling with this one because I do think it was very funny, and I kind of want to also say danger, though. But I feel like that was obvious that there was danger.
Yes, what, the oxyacetylene torch plus gas?
Yeah, exactly. Equals danger. But I feel like I'm in a forgiving mood, so I'm going to forgive him.
Okay, Brother Matthew, what
So
do
it
you
was the
say?
gas underneath the manhole cover that blew up the toilet. That was
the gas under the cover was clearly connected to the toilet.
Connected to the who'd have seen that coming? Nobody saw that coming, which is why he ended up with the burnt
backside.
Backside, that's right.
And presumably, that's not just the only thing.
What? Oh, right, no.
Yes.
I mean, who knows? Yes, other things may have, I don't know. Anyway, I mean, it was all there. But
it was all there at the beginning.
Hopefully.
Still had his paper, so that's good news.
There.
So, yes, I'm going to forgive, because nobody could have predicted that was going to happen. Because who knows about the gas? They didn't know the gas.
It's a sewer.
Well, but you'd have thought it had all gone. I mean, the sewer was rusted over. That would be my assessment.
Is that right?
So, for all those reasons, because of history, I'm going to forgive.
Because of history?
Yeah,
Okay.
history of the manhole cover and the gas.
People's
Very
verdict,
difficult.
please, for Martin and Rufus, 61054. First word is Simon. But just before the news, we had a confession from Martin and Rufus about the grandfather and father, who we called Fred. It involved an explosion caused by an oxyacetylene torch and a sewer, and one of their colleagues in an outhouse who got a burnt bottom. Anyway, the people's verdict is in. Here we go.
Jeff says, I can't forgive unleashing explosives in a factory yard. Creative as his methods were, the trauma of being blasted out of the loo doesn't make it okay.
Quite funny, though.
Very funny. Jill says, forgiven anyone who can unblock a manhole and provide free entertainment deserves some praise. And Gertie says, running from the outhouse with his newspaper, the dance of the flaming buttocks, forgiven 100%.
That's from Gertie.
Gertie,
Is
yes.
it Dirty Gertie from number 30?
That's the one. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, send your confession, please, to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk. New confession in just a moment, 14 minutes to 6 o'clock. Suze offers some vital refreshment. What are you going to give us tonight?
I have given you very delicious. It's part of a brewery's. They're doing 6 stouts of Christmas. It's New Bristol Brewery collab with Brew York, and it is the winter spiced ginger cake stout.
Oh, okay. That
It
sounds
tastes
heavy.
like, apparently, Caribbean ginger cake is what they're suggesting, but it's very delicious. Dark, it's kind of caramel malty, and yeah, delicious.
All right, that sounds very good, but maybe I shall leave that to the end of the show
Yeah,
Because
6%. So
well,
probably
there you go.
less.
That's a very good
That's
reason
why.
for
Yeah,
leading
yeah,
into the end of the show. Just a small one. Today's confession comes from Gordon. Thanks, Gordon. Simon and the figureheads of forgiveness. I wish to bring a confession to your attention that involves a very tired dad and a 21-month-old who can't hold her drink. On this morning in question, sensing my darling wife needed a break, I suggested I take our 2 young daughters out shopping. Now, shopping with my daughters is a mixed experience. I view it as a stressful mess of trying to keep multiple tiny people happy and engaged, and they view it as an opportunity to wind me up and then request various treats. And it was during one of these divide and conquer moments that they requested drinks. Not being heartless, I relented. I managed to load them into a trolley and promptly began to load it with some water. So they had some water bottles to drink from, because that's a very good thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
It was during a long and in-depth discussion with my 7-year-old about cheese that her little voice piped up. Here, Dad, we're leaking. That's my 6-year-old voice, by the way.
Yes, right,
Nice.
good.
Well
Nailed
done.
it. Yeah.
Her little protestation was earned as her little sister had proceeded to lose control of her water bottle, and the entire contents of her mostly full, large water bottle had now cascaded through the bottom of the trolley and onto a small lake under the trolley. I was horrified at the rapidly growing body of water developing. My youngest was celebrating her ability to produce a water feature in Sainsbury's, with much applauding from her. I was horrified, and the other shoppers behind me were glaring because we were blocking off the fine dairy products. I pushed my trolley on, believing I'd be able to locate a member of staff to inform them of our accident. I then realised that there were 2 members of staff behind me. I was sheepishly making my way back to inform them of the new reservoir that we had created when I heard what appeared to be a junior member of staff turn to his manager and say, "I think the leak is spreading. It's in this aisle too. And this one is even worse." "Well done, Nigel," says the boss guy. "We'll have to get maintenance out to get this mess sorted." Both Nigel and his manager then proceeded to look up to the ceiling and stare intently, as if to rectify it by giving it a good hard stare. They were looking for a leak, which was obviously coming from the roof. As I thought about my approach, I then thought, hang on, the other aisle? I wheeled my trolley round to see the previous aisle we'd been in, and right enough, there was a small lock in the middle of this aisle too. This pool was being attended by 2 members of staff and more cones than an ice cream van. I spoke to my eldest daughter and said, "Did your little sister spill her water here as well?" "Well, sort of, Daddy. She spilt a drink here, and then I gave her mine to drink, so she spilled the other one there."
Okay.
I realised here that my youngest had now spilt a litre of water over the floor. My youngest was soaked to the skin, although was celebrating with much clapping of hands and laughter. Other shoppers saw my poor water baby and started to tut loudly and shake their heads. I was being judged. I couldn't take the shame of my failure to prevent my daughter from attempting to flood the aisles. I went back to the site of my discovery and found a plethora of staff mopping, staring upwards and attempting to set up the largest set of ladders I had ever seen. I heard of them potentially closing the store for a short while. All the time the staff were staring in large numbers at the cavernous roof in case a sharp-eyed individual could scream, "We found the leak, stand down the sandbags." But when they couldn't, and in fact wouldn't be able to find, is the fact there was no leak, merely a toddler with poor hand-to-eye coordination. There was no crack in their roof. There was just my child in the trolley. So like a coward, a very, very tired coward, I ran away. I was tired of the judging, tired of preventing spillages, and simply just tired. I should have fessed up, but it felt like I would be confirming what they'd already suspected. By the time we left, half the team at the fine supermarket were attempting to find leaks that they believed covered a sizable portion of the ceiling. But Father Simon and the Confessional Collective, I wish to apologise to the hard-working staff of our local supermarket. They were scanning the ceiling for leaks that weren't there. And one particularly nervous lad was forced to climb a 20-foot ladder to get a better look at their perfectly serviceable ceiling. "Sorry, folks, I was just tired," says Gordon. A 20-foot ladder?
Wow.
That is a
Goodness.
monster.
How big's that? Right, okay.
Okay, I mean, I think he was
20 foot.
20. Well, yeah, how tall is that? It's 20 foot.
Well, no, I was going to say how big is the ceiling? It was obviously, near
22 feet?
22 feet, that's what I'm
just-
going to say.
I'm just guessing.
Yeah. As you say that.
So a lot of work was caused by going shopping with 2 young daughters, and Gordon needs some forgiveness, but is he going to get any? Let's check in with Sister Susie, who I think will.
I'm struggling with this because I have a 2.5-year-old who I can totally see doing this exact same thing. And also, at the very start, Gordon goes to say that he's doing this because he's giving his wife a break. Now, isn't that nice? He's parenting. He's taking his children to let his wife have a moment, and I think that is a good thing.
Yes.
I also think that there isn't really. If he'd have left the water and not told anyone about it, and someone could have fallen over or tripped, and then that would have been dangerous.
Yeah.
But he didn't. There were people attending the water. So as much as, apart from the 20-foot ladder, that does sound quite scary, but I am going to forgive Gordon because he's a parent and, we all need forgiveness.
It's a little bit stressful sometimes, Brother Matthew.
Yes, but I'm going to forgive because, as Sue says, he was trying to point it out. He went over to, but they were all obsessed with this leak, weren't they? They were all obsessed with looking up at the ceiling, 22 feet in the air,
Yes.
in the air, and yeah, that's exactly what it was. And didn't they think to look at the toddler with the empty water bottle? That would have been my first thought, Moriarty. So for all of those reasons,
yes,
I'm going to forgive.
Coherently argued.
I thought so again. Well done, yeah.
Okay, so Gordon needs the people's forgiveness. Is he going to get it? That's the question. 61054. First word is Simon. 10 minutes after 6, Greatest Hits Radio. Don't look at me as though I forgot to open the microphone again. Gordon from our Confessions Collective sent in a very entertaining confession, all about a trip to the supermarket with young children, and there was lots of water spillage. And also, as he says at the end, it forced a guy to climb up a 20-foot ladder to have a look at their perfectly serviceable ceiling, which of course means...
Oh, it does, because of the 20-foot ladder. Yeah.
Anyway, so I ignored that. But we carried on now, and there it is, nicely in place. So the people's verdict is in. Here we go.
Well, Dave in Birmingham says, you have to forgive this one. The poor guy was looking after his kids while doing a supermarket shop. He was doing his best, and the spillages were seen to, so no one got hurt. But Hamish in Sutton also says forgiven. As a supermarket worker myself, these sorts of spillages happen all the time, and the ceilings are also often old and in need of repair.
True.
So they were probably wise to look up. But Lauren says not forgiven, because who gives their kids water bottles whilst doing a shop? They're bound to spill it everywhere.
To which the answer would be thirsty children.
Yeah, okay, yes, but maybe wait till they get home.
Well, they could have a
good
glass of water, could they not?
Oh, could they not?
I think so. I think that's the way to sort that. Anyway, your confession, please, to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk. 5:47, Greatest Hits Radio playing classic chef from 1988, and I found someone. And today, with the drinks trolley all the way up on the train from Bristol, do you need an extra seat, really, if you come up with the trolley?
Yes.
Okay, and what have you you just brought up a couple of drinks, so what are we choosing from?
Yeah, I have got West Coast Pills for you today.
Okay.
So not Christmassy, but very delicious. It's also got some, it's a combination of different German-style beers with some American malt and
interference.
Yeast. Lovely. It's delicious.
Okay.
5%.
It'll get us through till...
Matt, you'll like it.
I
You're
like
looking
it.
at me
Good,
like
good.
what am I
Yes.
talking about?
Yeah.
But
It'll get us through till Nigel anyway.
it will.
Today's confession comes from Del Boy the Doorman.
Oh dear.
Simon and the Magistrates of Forgiveness. I have loved the confessions for years. Right back to your time at the station that we don't talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever that is. My story only goes back to earlier this year, however, around April, I believe. One of the many benefits of being retired is being able to sit down at 10:30 in the morning for Popmaster with a nice cup of tea without work interruptions. My wife, who we're going to call the Princess, always sits with me. But although I pride myself on having a reasonably good knowledge of music, she loves music but is somewhat less interested in, let's say, the finer details of who recorded the song and when it came out. This results, on the odd occasion that she knows the answer to a question, she quickly shouts it out before I say it, and then sits back to celebrate 3 points as if she's a lottery winner. Very, very annoying. On the day in question, we settled down listening to Ken talking to the first contestant about their interests, and then they chose their bonus question subject. And when we were ready to go, the front doorbell went. So the Princess says, "Don't worry, I'll get it," giving the impression that might be up for debate when Popmaster is on, and went to the door just as Ken was asking the first question. As you know, Simon, the first question is usually straightforward, and this day was no exception. Ken asked this question: what was Right Said Fred's first number one? This led to the princess opening the door to our usual delivery man from Every. Other couriers are available, and simultaneously shouting, "I'm too sexy!" in the man's face, nice and loud, so that I could hear it, but so could the Every delivery man. Our usual chatty delivery man handed over the parcel and made a very hasty retreat. Simon, whilst the princess will never get to Ken's Champions League Popmaster at the end of the year, she is a World Cup standard online shopper, which means our delivery driver is a very regular visitor to our house. And since that day, I have been allocated to answer the door each and every visit, because there is still a definite look of panic when he presses the doorbell, but a look of relief when he sees that it's me. The princess needs forgiveness from the poor man from Every for the trauma she has caused him, which must surely have led to him having time off with stress and the need to reassess his career options. If every time he delivers a parcel, he's told by the door opener that they're just too sexy, things could get out of hand. This isn't Surrey, you know.
Isn't it? Oh, right.
Her defence has always been that if it was Ken's fault... Oh, no, her defence has always been that it was Ken's fault for asking a question like that when the doorbell rang. But as I pointed out to her, blaming a national treasure would only result in her being probably thrown into the Tower of London. And Simon, if you do happen to think this mishap is worth reading out on your show and you want to send us a smart speaker, please don't send it by Every. The poor guy has been through enough. Thanks to you and the team for such a great show. Now, the only thing who signs off, come on, you Spurs.
Does he?
Just going to draw my attention. Now, the only thing that puzzles me about this is that Right Said Fred's first number one was not I'm Too Sexy. That only got to number two.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the first number one was Deeply Dippy or something equally annoying.
Okay.
But... So I'm not... Would that have been a first question? You see, that sounds like a catch question. Because everyone is going to say, I'm too sexy. Exactly like the princess did.
There you go,
just not to the face of the delivery man.
No. Good point.
So anyway, I'm not quite sure about... I don't know whether the right answer was actually given. But anyway, these are sort of popmastery kind of concerns. And we're going back to April, but it's, I'm not sure what Sister Susie's going to make of this. From a production point of view, you know.
Well, I think that Del Boy, he says nothing interrupts Popmaster. Well, she still heard it when she was at the door, didn't she? She could still hear it because she answered the question. And if he'd have just got up and answered the door that time,
he could have said, I'm too sexy to the Every delivery man.
Or maybe he wouldn't shout it out, and then he wouldn't have to get up all the many times that he's now had to get up because she won't answer the door. So I feel like he's shot himself in the foot.
Also, it's the wrong answer. He should have said Deeply Dippy, and then there wouldn't have been a comparison.
She said it, and then it was wrong anyway. So I am not going to forgive.
No, absolutely no points at all. Matthew?
I'm going to forgive. It strikes me this will have been the highlight of the delivery guy's day. And also, I'm sure they have it on in the van. He's got it on his van, listening to Ken and Popmaster, hasn't he? So he will have wanted to know what was the answer to what was your man's first hit. So for all of those reasons given, I and George McRae believe that he shall be forgiven. Are we up to the vocals yet? No, we're not.
That's why I played it in. No, it's all right. You can stop now. Okay, so thank you very much. 61054. First word is Simon. For the news, a Ken Bruce themed confession from Del Boy, the princess, his other half, and a strange exclamation of I'm too sexy towards their delivery driver. Anyway, the people's verdict, here we go.
Well, Jack in Liverpool says, I totally forgive the princess because the delivery man should know that the whole country stops for Popmaster.
There you go.
So he should have known better than to interrupt the quiz. Silly man. Nigel in his Sainsbury's van also asks, why was the driver delivering while Popmaster was on? We all stopped for Ken, not forgiven. And Hannah says, forgiven. I work as a delivery driver and this would have made my week.
Okay, thanks for the verdicts. Thank you for your confessions. Please send the very latest to confessions@greatesthitsradio.co.uk.